It really means a lot. It's not my first collection, but that's just a remark. But it's a very important poetry collection for me. The story goes that 2 years ago, I'm from Belarus. I don't know how much you know about Belarus, but for 3 years already we have been experiencing political repressions, very, very, very horrible political repressions, which started in August 2020. Well, they started earlier, but this scale of repression started in August 2020 when we had a presidential election and we voted for an alternative candidate for a change, but the dictator, whose name I don't even want to call, decided that he's not letting go of his power. And 2 years ago, before I came here, I came to a Belarusian publisher in Minsk with a manuscript of what has become this book. And he said, I can't publish this because of your protest poems, because they will shut me down if I publish these poems. They're not really, scary or anything. And at some point, he himself was arrested for opening a bookshop selling Belarusian books in the Belarusian language. He luckily was released and later left. But so I brought this manuscript to London 2 years ago, and I was sending it out to publishers and obviously receiving rejections or not receiving any response, as I think we all know what it feels like. And then I did receive a response from 3 Times Rebel. And Viviana, the woman who responded, said that I publish novels for now, but you know what? I really like your poetry. Maybe one day I will publish poems too, so let's keep it in mind. And then she later got back to me and said, I want to publish your book. And she said, we'll make it possible, no matter what, we'll make it possible because it's really important. And it means the world to me that she's made it possible. And a lot of people have made these poems possible. So there must be a lot more that I want to say, but it's, my mind is getting empty. It's very touching. Half of the book are protest poems. They are poems about the revolution in Belarus. They are poems about the repressions that we've been experiencing. They are poems, the real stories of the people experiencing a lot of state violence. But also there are personal poems, and I cried yesterday realizing that I had life before 2020. It's because I forgot that I had life. I've become this warrior. It's always battling, for justice and for democracy against dictatorship. So I forgot that I had a life, that I had love, that I had romance, that I had a broken heart, that I had problems with my parents, that I had a difficult relationship with my motherland. So these are poems about that as well. And I want to start with a very, very personal poem, and I'll read it in Belarusian first and then the English translation. У тишине моего тела ворочается с боку на бок забытый сон. Окисляется изъеденный яблок, кровь выпырскивая астрами, сипят стеклицы, ломается голос звязок и сухожилий, крикливый пот раскатурхивая поры. И только слезы, тишейшие за тишиню, чують мою глухоту перед шматголосим лесу. In the quiet of my body, a forgotten dream tosses around. The apple I've eaten acidifies. Blood gushes out with asters. Muscles wheeze. The voice of the ligaments breaks. And lamenting sweat pierces my pores. Only tears, quieter than quiet itself, can hear my deafness before the polyphony of fate. And I will just read the English translations next, but the book is bilingual, Belarusian, and then my translations into English. So this is my favorite topic, childhood traumas and relationship with parents. To unify. Do this. Come for a visit, sit in front of them, say, I need to talk to you, and start crying. Cry for everything they haven't been for you. Cry that they never grew up and didn't protect you from themselves, that you still can't lean on them, that staring out the window is more amusing than being in their space. I'm so just like you. Sounds sick. Cry that escaping from them, you throw yourself into their own arms, for anxiety wakes up before you and sings, sleep, baby. It's so scary and so unsafe out there. You won't make it on your own. Don't even think you can. Find someone to cling to adhere and get attached to. Let him carry the responsibility for your happiness. You can stay a little girl for a while longer. Cry steadily, chokingly, take no breaks. You don't want to give them time to disagree. It's okay if they don't understand. It's fine if they are confused. Exchanging glances and sharing guilty silence. If all you have accomplished on your own cannot unite them, maybe guilt will. Next poem is called Radiation, and I think, well, in 2020 more people learned about Belarus because it was a very bright protest. It was white, red, white, actually, like this wall, and it was peaceful. And there was a women's protest, which was big and beautiful part of it, very powerful. But before that, probably, if people had heard about Belarus, they had heard about Chernobyl. And I know that people in Scotland and Ireland and Italy and other countries, they received children who were from Chernobyl zone and were affected by the radiation after the explosion at the Chernobyl nuclear power station. But we are all affected by Chernobyl, regardless whether you are from Chernobyl zone or not. And I compare radiation, I compare patriarchy with radiation too. And Belarus is very patriarchal still. Cartilage crackles when I open my arms to let you in. My knees are sore, it's hard for me to run where your freedom flies far beyond my contaminated poetry. I'm radiating love, loaded with plutonium. Leave me to my tumors and find an non-radioactive womb. I know this may be tough. We have a lot of political prisoners now in Belarus, officially 1,500 people. You can actually see their names in the summer hall now. There is this kind of installation of yellow tags with the names of all the political prisoners. In reality, there must be 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 of these people, and every day people in Belarus are arrested for nothing, for a comment on social media, for having an opinion that is different from the dictator's regime. And in September 2020, I was myself also peacefully protesting, just walking on the street with a few hundred other people, mostly women, when we were caught up and circled by police, and 100 of us were arrested that night, and I spent the following 9 days in prison. So this is the poem about that experience. In our prison cell, the four of us share everything. Liquid white and sticky ochre light. Bed squeaking, the cold curling up, the sun behind the thick window, fresh air from the gaps between window frames. Freight trains rumbling, iron doors clashing, tapping against the wall. Long live Belarus. Warm water in the shower, deodorant, a newspaper with crossword puzzles, the voice reading aloud. Second time, questions, curses, nightmares, and the very words, when I'm out of here. Although it was a very traumatic experience, and after just 9 days, it took me 2 years to overcome it fully. It was also experience of immense sisterhood, as you can tell, because we were sharing everything. And we shared one deodorant because that's only what we had, and we could only take shower once in a week. And we were reading for each other, the same book so yeah, that was a very, very beautiful experience, as dark as it was. And I will read the last poem for today. They're all in the book, and you can buy it if you'd like. It's also a protest poem. It has a lot of reference to the protest that we took to the streets a lot, every week, sometimes every day for a long time. Then we had symbols in the windows that how we could recognize, people, like-minded people. Sometimes it was a white sheet of paper, sometimes it was a red, white flag, sometimes it was a candle, because every now and then, unfortunately, very tragically, people died because they were killed by the police. And those were all signs, and we would go out at night as well on secret missions, like partisans and everything. So yeah, I'll also read the Belarusian first and then the English. Потім розкажем, як ми вижили, як змогли, що нас вело на вулиці, що вертало додому, за кого ми запалювали свічки щовечір, про літописи наших життів у листах зневоленим. Як, ідучи додому, здимали воші на вокни, боючися не долічитися. Хто насамрэч перамагаў у наших снах, і куди ми сходили по ночах, замість того, каб кахаць. When it's over, we will tell how we survived, what led us to the streets, what brought us back home, for whom we lit a candle every night, the stories of our lives in the letters to prisoners, how walking we looked up at the windows to find signs, fearing that some would be missing, who actually won in our dreams, and where we went out at night rather than making love. Let's make love, not war. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. James, again, thank you for making it possible. Thank you all the incredible poets that I've got to listen today. I'm very happy that my friends are present here and I can share this important touching moment with my publisher. Yeah, well, thank you again.
Oh.